for this Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Prosperous Voyage just a little awkward from the stalls. Roma missed towards the inside of Astral Bow. Out wide, ridden forward is Random Harvest. Astral Bow a bit keen. Then NYRA. Behind those is Potapova, and Prosperous Voyage is held up at the back of the field in the hands of Frankie Dettori. So Roma Mist is the leader, third in this last year, just a half length to in second Random Harvest, 2.5 lengths away to Astral Bow. Potapova and Derby winning rider Ryan Moore on the inside, the red, white sash, blue cap of the Cheveley Park stud from NYRA, and lastly Prosperous Voyage. Running now towards the 5 furlong marker, and Roma missed by just about a length to Random Harvest on the outside. Potapova getting a nice lead through into third, followed by Astral Bow. Prosperous Voyage still just behind runners with NYRA to her outside. About to swing for home, left-handed. When they straighten up, they'll have 3.5 furlongs to gallop to the judge. And it's Roma Mist that leads the way to Random Harvest. Astral Bow on the outside. On the running rallies, Potapova. Then Prosperous Voyage and NYRA. And there's only about 5-6 lengths between them as they race on to the final 2.5 furlongs. Roma Mist trying to up the ante from the front, but Random Harvest almost joining the leader. Then Astral Bow. Potapova's going to need a bit of a break between the front pair, if good enough, coming there under Ryan Moore. Then Prosperous Voyage and NYRA racing down inside the final furlong now. Quite an open race. Random Harvest, Potapova. Here's Astral Bow, and here's Prosperous Voyage now burning down the near side inside the final furlong. Prosperous Voyage on the near side, just getting up is Prosperous Voyage, and another winner at Epsom for Frankie. Prosperous Voyage tight for second, Random Harvest and Astral Bow. NYRA running on in fourth from Potapova and Roma Mist.
Plan A to Plan B to Plan C. Frankie Dettori's had to improvise today, rather as he did in the Oaks yesterday, and Prosperous Voyage has been good enough to prevail in a messy race. It looks as though Random Harvest, big price, has just held second from Astral Bow, who was keen early, and NYRA and Potapova. The gap probably was there in the end, but Ryan Moore didn't have the horse to go through with it, and Roman Mist is the one that is bitterly disappointing here. Well done, Prosperous Voyage. It didn't go right at the start. That's not what Frankie Dettori was after. And then he had to rather sit and take his medicine.
Yeah, she didn't make all, but she did win. Last to first from Dettori. As you say, Nick, she was slow into her stride, so he had to change his plans. I think he was very sensible. You can see the experience from Dettori with this ride, I think, because other jockeys on a horse that's led on frequent occasions in the past may have been inclined to rush to the lead. He didn't. He just sat, suffered. She wasn't into her stride quickly, but he had confidence in her to pick up inferior rivals. She was back to something like her best, if not having to show that level of form on the day, but I think she's overcome the run of it to some extent, overcome adversity, and good to see her back to this sort of level, back on quicker ground.
Absolutely. Saffie Osborne's given Random Harvest a nice ride, and she's run just about a career best to finish second here. Lady Bamford's had a good weekend, winner of the Oaks yesterday with a homebred. This one getting Group 3 black type, homebred as well.
A good day's work and a positive ride. She just sat on Oisin Murphy's boot and gave her an absolute peach. Kept tight to Ryan without taking his gap. If Ryan's filly was good enough, he'd have got through and threaded the eye of the needle. But I thought Frankie he took his time, but he had to. Those were the cards he played. NYRA on the outside, he couldn't force a gap, and he had to wait for everything to unfold. And as the camera shot will change, you'll see from the head on that this filly really had to quicken in to the gap and take those opportunities. As it looked like Pam Sly's filly Astral Bow was travelling probably best of all. But
I think Pam might win a real big one with this filly, because I'm not sure Epsom on this ground is her bag.
She hasn't really let herself down. She travelled really well, but when she's asked, she just doesn't quicken on it. Like she can go on softer ground. She's happier. She's run really well.
But the winners is so much superior. She's won in spite of everything going wrong, and that's what class horses do.
Yeah, under these conditions, absolutely. But Astral Bow, if she gets a big race on soft ground, which I think suits her ideally, she could spring a surprise somewhere. But Prosperous Voyage, as you say, she was the class act in the field, and she's been able to show it to come off her quick and off the pace.
Not to be in the Derby for Frankie Dettori, but he's won just about everything else. Does he only ride in group races these days?
We'll take note if he's riding in a maiden anyway.
Yeah, if he rocks up in a novice, you know there's
something going on. Yeah, but you'll be pleased for Andrew Rosen and Mark Chan as well. He's got an allegiance with them, and this filly took the scalp of Inspiral in last year's Falmouth. A lot of people were concentrating on the horse who got beaten on that occasion. Well, this filly now got her time to shine, and hopefully some big targets lie ahead. She bounced back from a disappointing seasonal debut. This put her right for this, and while it looks like a blanket finish, as I said, I think this filly's by far superior on the day.
Frankie's done for the day. No right in either of the dashes.
Gone at the game.
You wouldn't fancy that, would you, to be honest? Just stick to riding these classy horses and doing it really well. Prosperous Voyage wins in spite of herself and takes this Princess Elizabeth Stakes. And you'd think, wouldn't you, back into all those races that she was running in last year, Falmouth and Sun Chariots and those sort of races.
Yeah, she won the Falmouth last year. She'll have to go back and try again, won't she? Try and repeat. But,
and a notable scalp in the Falmouth last year in the shape of Inspiral. Looking forward to seeing Inspiral back at Royal Ascot. Maybe there'll be a trip to Royal Ascot between now and the Falmouth for Prosperous Voyage. Possibly for something like the Windsor Forest. Why not?
Perhaps, why not? She's a very professional filly. She's not big or robust, but she's all there. And I'd imagine her connections would love a day out, another day out with Top Hat and Tails. But Rafe Beckett's got some good ammunition in his yard. Few will be superior to this one.
She is in the Pretty Polly as well, isn't she? In the Duchess of Cambridge at Ascot. She's got an entry in the Pretty Polly in early July, which would be a step up in trip for her to 1.25 miles.
Duke of Cambridge at Ascot, isn't it?
Duke of Cambridge.
Duchess of Cambridge is what used to be the Cherry Hinton for 2-year-olds.
Of course it is.
Newmarket.
The Duke.
The Duke it is at Ascot. It used to be the Windsor Forest.
That Saffron Beach hacked up in last year because it wasn't a terribly deep renewal. It might be a bit better this year.
Excellent. Before we get completely lost down the rabbit hole of race naming arcana, we will just laud this filly here, Prosperous Voyage, who didn't exactly have the smoothest passage through the race, but nonetheless was able to prosper. Nick Lightfoot with SPs and then more reaction to follow.
Thank you, Nick. And she's back to the scene of where she broke her maiden back in July of 2021 at the second attempt. Over 7 furlongs here. She the Aswan by a nose, 11-4. She's taken great strides since then. She's 6-1 for the Duke of Cambridge, formerly the Windsor Forest, as Nick was saying. Royal Ascot, well, it's not far off 3 weeks' time. There's a good break this year between the Derby meeting and Royal Ascot, so they'll have a look at that, no doubt. As Nick was saying and the team were mentioning, it probably wasn't plan A for Frankie Dettori, but whatever plan came through, it was victorious.
It was. Nick said it was a messy race. I don't know whether it was, but it might well have been. But Frankie was on a Group 1 winning filly. He knew that he didn't have a penalty because she won a race before August last year, and you know, it was nice of the horse in the Shadwell colours to just move out, nothing deliberate, but he didn't get an impeded run at all, and he's won well. I suspect he must have been always confident once he got the gap. There we go.
Yep, the man who won this race.
He used to do that for Group 1s.
5 years ago in Wilhelmina, most recently. He's won it again on Prosperous Voyage, 6-4 and favourite. Is that the last time we'll see it at the Downs? Well, you'd kind of fancy so. Prosperous Voyage, 6-4 and favourite has won. Frankie goes to ride Epictetus in the Prix de Jockey Club. I don't know, there are further fixtures at Epsom, but whether he'd treat them to a flying dismount. It's been a good year for him. I know it didn't go for a rest, but yesterday was great. There was that incredible 50-foot high mural to him unearthed at, or unveiled, sorry, at the April meeting. So Frankie and Epsom, the relationship continues. 1:43.60, 1 minute exactly slower than standard. That was Prosperous Voyage. As we go back to Lydia.
Frankie Dettori has just won on Prosperous Voyage. I was just asking him, is this the last time we'll see you at Epsom?
Here we go. That's it. Me and Epsom have done.
I'm taking that as a yes.
Yes, last one and we won.
Well, it was almost a triple Group 1 success. You'll
Yeah.
take the next best thing with this win on Prosperous Voyage.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
She was a bit rusty in the spring, and I thought this was a good opportunity. She's a filly who runs forward, but she anticipated the start, smacked her face in the stalls, got back, and now I'm last. I thought, oh God, plan B. So I follow Ryan, and sometimes things like that can happen, and it's good because she's probably sick and tired of making the running. So today to follow the others was a good thing, and she was very brave because she had to give herself a bit of room there. She was good.
Okay, so that might have opened horizons for her then, being able to ride a differently.
Yeah, exactly. The plan was always the Duke of Cambridge, so we wanted to get a race into her and tried to give her some confidence. So that's what she has exactly done. So she should go to Ascot with a good chance.
Yeah, job done, well done. And arrest, tell me what happened in the derby.
It got very warm beforehand, jumped good, I had a good slot. From the 4, I was in trouble. It was climbing, he was finding the downhill around Tottenham very difficult. He took me into the straight and he had legs going everywhere. A combination of the left-hand track, the downhill and the ground drying up. So, yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Can I invite you to take a good look around? The last time that we see Frankie Dettori at Epsom, ending with a winner. Many congratulations, well done.
Well, that was